Sup, boo boo patootie? Hump day. Halfway through till the next week when we do it all again. How is everybody? I'm pretty good. I just got in from work. It was a nice, calm evening where you make like the good money, where you don't have to like kill yourself for it. So that's always really exciting. Right before I left for work, I was actually going to get there a little bit early, but I didn't get to leave as early as I wanted to because I broke a Pyrex mixing bowl, a clear glass one. It was part of a nesting set. So big loss, because now I'm like, I don't have that size bowl in the nesting set, and I'm like, I'm not going to be able to find just that size probably, and I don't want to buy a whole nother set. So it was the perfect size bowl too. Still mourning the loss. Gotta admit. And then it was like right as I walked out the door, it was like a jar fell out of my cabinet and landed on the glass bowl. It was as it was drying. So there was just like broken glass shattered everywhere, all over my kitchen counter and in the sink. I mean, there was more glass than was even in the original bowl. I don't know how it happened. It was just like more glass than I'd ever seen. It was like the recycling dumpster full of glass all over the floor. So I had to remember that when I came home, there was shards of glass and like dangerous like booby traps all over the kitchen. So I came in and dealt with that really quick. And yeah, I've moved on. And then when I got home from work, I pulled in the driveway and there was a big buck in the back with like some really awesome antlers. You could tell they're like still fuzzy and new. And there was like two little bitty baby deer with the little spots, and I startled them and they started to run away. And I hate startling the deer because they're so klutzy and like their legs are so delicate and brittle that the deer around here are always like hobbling around. And it's like, well, I don't know, like one time there was a deer that had like a severely like injured leg and it was like really hobbling and it was like dislocated. And oh, it was so awful, and all the neighbors and I, we were just like devastated for this like poor deer, and we kept calling wildlife, but they were like, there's nothing that we can really do for the deer except for like hunt it down and put it down. We were just like, can't you just operate? And it's like, yeah, only in the movies do they spend like the money to do that on like just some random wild animal. They're like, ma'am, this is up to nature now. Where I was like, no, it can't be. So yeah, I did not want to startle the little deer because their dad was like limping on like a sprain, but he didn't have anything too bad going on. Thank God. All right, you guys. My garden's coming along. I have a zucchini growing, and so I'm like trying to let it get big enough so that it's enough for like one like dinner of sauteed zucchinis with something. I don't know. I like to do like a piece of salmon with some sauteed thick chunky cuts of zucchini. Pretty excited, and it's my own zucchini that I grew. I just like, it doesn't get any better than that. I mean, it probably does, but I'm pretty satisfied with my zucchini. All right. Okay, so we're here to talk about the cards that we pulled today that I wrote our blog about and posted to Instagram with a cute picture. And if you guys are like, who are you? I have no idea who you are. I'm Liz Taylor. You can find me on Instagram. I do have Light Love Magick, the brand page on Instagram, but my more active account with like, you know, other things too is Liz_Taylor_Magick. Same Magick with a CK as the channel. But yeah, so I write up our posts Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and then we talk more about them when we come on here. And usually it's sometimes the messages are kind of different from the morning because I'll think of more things or think more things will come to me throughout the day. But also I write differently than I just channel and talk to you guys into camera. So that's also something. So go follow me over there. Join us. Yeah, so today I had like my Wild Unknown Archetypes Oracle was like, hi! So I was like, okay, I hear you. And then I was like, I also need to couple this with the modern witch tarot, because I felt like there was a whole story that was going to unfold. And boy, did it ever. I was like crying as I was like typing the story in. It was really, really moving. And I'm just feeling a lot. I feel that, how do you guys feel, right? The new moon in Cancer was, what was it like? Was it yesterday or day before yesterday? It was the 28th, so it was yesterday. And I mean, I've been very sensitive, and I'm not usually super, I mean, I can be very sensitive, but I can compartmentalize. I have been randomly like having like bouts of weeping, like just for like a few minutes, and then I'll have to like get over it and like go on, or like it'll just be finished. I'm not even like rushing through it. It's just like these little like, few minutes of like crying and stuff and like processing and thinking of it. And it's all over the map. It's like, everything from like missing my dead best friend Trace to like thinking about like the birth of my nephew and getting all choked up about that, and disappointments and things that I didn't think, I thought would have worked out better that didn't, or, hopes that I had that didn't pan out, and just different things like all over the map, and like things from childhood and like relating why like, oh, well, that clearly is where that limiting belief or that pattern comes from. But like getting really like, I don't know, really empathically connected with my past self more so than ever. Like having a tender heart for my past self, because usually I don't really think about it much. I mean, I try to, but it's more like we're here, we keep going, but it's like I've been there with me through it all. But I really have. I've really been kind of like tender-heartedly looking back on life and just, different things. And I think that's what the Cancer new moon was trying to do for us. It's been pulling all the stuff out of the attic and out of the basement and out of the shed, cleaning it all up so we can offload so much that has been keeping us in this one state of being that we've been in. In the new moon reading, which I would highly suggest going back and watching that workshop yesterday, I was talking about like preparing the mansion, and like the Cancer new moon is trying to help us release and make and like refresh and clean slate our emotional realm, like really purify that and wash it out and do like a fresh start over thing, a reboot, a reset. And so we're having to offload a lot of the stored memories on our files that are now causing our operating system to be buggy, right, in our lives. And so we need to clear up our hard drive. But all of this crap that we've been carrying around has been like forcing us, or like holding us at this plateaued state of being. And so now, like with this major like life cycle shift, we are having a moment where it's like the life kind of changes right now, and the changes within us, and even the changes in our life. It's like so big and poignant that it's almost like, instead of being like the next chapter, it's almost like the whole next book of a series, So this new cycle is really starting off, just getting kind of going now. And I feel that, so we've been held in sort of this one state of being, this one state of dwelling, like one mansion, so to speak, for so long. And so now it's like we're cleaning all this out, and we're about to move, or we're about to like remodel or whatever, and we're preparing the next mansion, the next state of being, the more elevated next version of our life, of ourself, of our ability to cope, process, be fulfilled and validated within ourselves, be comfortable to set boundaries, like, and having different opportunities and experiences showing up in our lives, and all kinds of things coming in. So the first card we pulled out of the unknown archetypes is the Bridge. And this is the perfect archetype to illustrate our life right now, because we're kind of in the in-between, and this whole year is kind of like one big in-between. And so it's like we're crossing from where we've always been, how we've always lived, who we've always been. And we're moving into this whole new life of like the higher version of ourself, you know, a self that's more fully realized, like more healed on different levels, and, you know, more comfortable in our own skin, and more aligned, and more, you know, authentic, because we're able to know ourselves more deeply, and have more clarity about, you know, our desires and our needs, and the things that were just in our lives because that was the status quo. You know, we've let go of a lot of that wasn't really true to us, so that we can open ourselves to what is true to us. So I think that right now is a really good moment to take a moment on this bridge before we rush off into the next chapter, the next story, the next book in the series of our life. Take a minute to look back on where you've been and where you are now, and what could be coming up next, but particularly appreciate where you've been and how much you had to go through, and all the work that you had to do, and all the experiences, but all the things that you've had to face and overcome to get to this point. And it's like, I want to read the bridge card, but not yet, because of the way that the other cards played out. It was such a story. So after pulling the bridge card, I pulled Page of Cups first, followed by Ten of Swords, and then finally the Strength card. But like, so the Page of Cups was first, but I'm going to reverse them so that it looks like it did when I was looking at them. Because the Page card was sort of looking away, but the Strength card was looking back at the page. And so, so basically, I had these laid out, and the bridge card was sort of over top. And so to me, even though I think it may be reversed the way that you're seeing it because of the filming, but it's like our past self here this page is like our younger self. And like, we don't know the future that's ahead of us. We're just focused here on like all of our dreams and our talents and the things that we want to do. And we're so naive and so sensitive, and, you know, so open to hearing people out, open to believing the best about people. You know, just unjaded, naive, sensitive, open to the world, vulnerable, but yeah, full of hope. Really focused on that little fish that we have to offer the world, right? Just full of enthusiasm and optimism, with no idea what's to come. And then life happens, and then this pretty much brings us up to speed. This is where we are now. This is us being so dead and so tired, and at the end of that whole first half of the journey of life up until this point, right? We're laying here. We're like, God, boy, that was a tough one, huh? And it's just like, we're at the end of this difficult cycle, and we're so tired, and we're so like disillusioned. But the good news is the worst is behind us. It is. And we have grown from this experience, all of these experiences. And the future self, the self that we are like literally becoming in this moment, strength, it's like this strength is like merged with this right here. It's like we're this becoming this, right? This woman is on the other side of the bridge here. Or this character, because you don't have to be a woman. It could be anybody. She's in the future. She's who we're becoming. And we're gaining so much strength. And so much strength that's not like that forceful kind of power, but that quiet power that comes from inner confidence, security, experience, perspective, like we're getting there, and we're looking back as this person going, oh my God, this girl had no idea. This younger version of ourselves had no idea that this was all coming. And if they had, they would have just never tried, probably. Maybe they would have. But, you know, don't get discouraged, because the best is yet to come and it's ahead of us. But this is just this moment to pause and recuperate, and also honor the journey that took place between this and arriving at this, and then coming through this and coming out of the other side of it strong and healthy and independent, and looking back with such compassion and such understanding on all the reasons that this poor little naive person made all the decisions that led to all of this pain. They were just not equipped. All they had was their one little cup, their one little fish. They were so confident about. We had on good shoes. So guys, like, believe me, I know that this is not as articulate as it usually is, but I feel so visceral about these images, and I hope that you see what I'm seeing. And I won't know until I go back and watch it later if this is reversed for you, but basically it just feels like this is the past self, and that this is the current and becoming future self, and that this is definitely this is the present self and like recent past self, and this is like becoming present self, but like just around the corner self. So hang on, it's all gonna be okay. There was another, I'm gonna read actually the booklet message for the bridge, but there was another message in the card specifically about a communication, because of the bridge also being connected with communication. And I just felt that the page is also a messenger. Sometimes it's a young person bringing a message, but the page brings a message, and sometimes that message is emotionally related, because the Page of Cups is the emotional realm, right? So there could be some kind of message or communication that's going to come eventually and take place that needs to happen, like a heart-to-heart with a person or about an issue or something. And just be prepared for that, and try to neutralize all of the emotion and try to do it as level-headed as possible, but in a loving way, so that you can communicate truthfully and like purely, without a lot of venom from getting upset or defensiveness, right? So just try to heal a little bit and be strong when that comes, and be gentle and loving and courageous and kind, because that's real strength. Real strength doesn't come from, sick burns. Like, that can feel very satisfying in the moment, but it does more damage than it does good, and it's a very fleeting satisfaction, and usually it comes with a lot of remorse and sometimes a lot of permanent damage. So if you do have a heart-to-heart coming up that needs to happen, just be extra mindful to be kind, to be respectful, to be compassionate as much as you can. And try to keep your feelings under control until you can express the feelings with your words or facial expressions. But try not to do it in a nasty way, or in a way that is manipulative or strategically trying to hurt someone or cut them down or anything like that. Just be mindful and sensitive. All right, and then I wanted to read the bridge, because Kim Kranz is a very deep writer, but her messages are unique, kind of like the bird messengers from the other day. The bridge, and it's such a neat booklet. It's really neat. The connection, the link, the gate. And I think, this is like an initiative portal experience too for us right now. Like this period that's happening, it's not to be rushed through. The bridge is the archetypal phase that we are in and of itself. So take your time crossing the bridge and make sure to savor the view from there, right? The perspective on the bridge is precious because once you're across it, that's it. There's no going back, right? There's no going back across this bridge. And so it's good to take a look from this point of view and be really self-aware about, kind of be meta about it, like be able to like observe yourself observing this moment so that you can kind of stand outside of yourself and witness how you feel and where you are now compared to like where you were and where you're going. This is kind of like, while you're in it now is kind of the only time that you will get the most clarity and the clearest picture of that, because later it will be painted through the lens of memory, of nostalgia. It could be painted a little bit better, a little bit worse, you never know. So make a note and pay attention now while it's happening. The connection, the link, the gate. Bridges are built to connect two worlds. They create flow, allowing us to travel between realms, ideologies, personalities. This archetype is the gesture of acceptance, of saying yes rather than withdrawing. Separating and saying no. This archetype is the gesture of acceptance, of saying yes rather than withdrawing, separating, and saying no. When we cross a bridge to an unknown land, we are led magically into a new reality. We open up to otherness. Healing and communication are made possible. We enter a state of curiosity, wonder, and learning. The shaman, for example, creates the bridge between the everyday world and the sacred. This card asks us to study the connection between the seemingly disconnected parts of our life, relationships, ideologies, histories. Remember that a bridge can't be forced. It must be made with love, or its structure will not withstand the inevitable weather of life. When light, the bridge, or like, it says when light and then like a colon, and then I'm reading out like 3 keywords. So it's just weird to like read that out loud to people. So when light, acceptance, magic, and communication. When dark, lacking boundaries, forcing connection. I want to say that again. When light, acceptance, magic, communication. When dark, lacking boundaries, forcing connection. Ooh, and so this reminds me a lot of our message from the big workshop yesterday, which again, go back and watch it. But we were also talking about one of the lessons to overcome having to do with Cancer is strengthening the boundaries because of, and like making them healthy boundaries. Because Cancers are water signs, and they're very sensitive and they're very empathic, but they're very mutable as far as being very accommodating to others and being able to feel other people around them. And sometimes they don't know that it's not them that they're feeling, that it's somebody else's feelings that they're feeling. So we've been focusing on strengthening our boundaries, because when we have weak boundaries, we are overgiving and we think that that's normal, and we wonder why others aren't reciprocating at that level, and then we get angry, frustrated, and bitter, right? So when dark, lacking boundaries, forcing connection, right? You're force giving, you're force feeding, you're giving what in Hebrew we call bread of shame. When you are over giving and someone's not earning, or when you have been given to and you have not earned, it creates bread of shame, which means that there's like almost a resentment that builds up, or a guilt, or like some kind of like weird tension and strings attached because you didn't earn what you've been taking. A good example of this in life to apply this is bread of shame might be, Well, literally like over giving to people physically, like treating them maybe too many times to dinner without them like letting them pay also, and then like they start feeling awkward about taking it. Or like ooh, I don't know, in dating, I guess maybe if you're like overly available like in the beginning before there's like no earning there, or like kind of pushing the self on people, and then you're just like, no, I'm okay, you know, like I think you get it. I think you get it. But yeah, you don't want to create bread of shame. So yeah, forcing connection. When dark, lacking boundaries, forcing connection. Okay, guys. I think we're complete for the evening. I hope you enjoyed our late night show tonight. I'm gonna go water the garden so I can get that zucchini poppin'. I want that zucchini engorged. All right, you guys, be good, but not too good. Ta-ta.